We're back on the air, and for those of you who are listening previously, we had Adam Caper on from Synchrony Innovations, and we invited him back because we had such a good response to the story, the substance of the story. Welcome back, Adam.
Great to be back, Jeffrey.
Great.
Thanks for having me.
Let's remind us of what was so interesting the first time.
Well, I think we spoke about our product TiCR Innovation Analytics, and it's the world's first system for measuring the strategic value of innovation options.
Right.
It's designed to help people in very large enterprises. That's corporations, governments, nonprofits, the people who have to make innovation investment decisions. What the software does is it gives them a way of measuring the pure innovation value, and it's novel. We've got a patent pending on it. It's novel because it gives people as rigorous and systematic and metricized a way of measuring innovation as they're used to doing to measure more mature kinds of products. So in big firms, when you do an analysis of a project, they often use something called NPV, net present value, or IRR, internal rate of return. And these are all ways of trying to understand the financial value of a future of an investment that isn't going to start to generate revenue until the future. The problem with innovation is that the very early stages, you don't really know what kind of revenue. You might not even know the costs. You don't have the financial metrics. And so you want another way that gives you some objective numbers, and that's what we've invented.
For the investor, or for the consumer, for what end, or for everyone?
It's really aimed at corporate, or what we call institutional and enterprise executives, so the people who have to make resource allocation decisions. I'll give you one little statistic. The top 2,000 companies in the world, we call them the Global 2,000, they spend well over $1 trillion every year on innovation. Almost all of that money is sort of earmarked as R&D money, so we're used to think about R&D investments. About 70% of that money never ends up making it into commercial products. So that means you've got a 30%, 70% waste, 30% efficacy rate. And the most of that waste.
And in baseball, a 300 batting average will get you into the Hall of Fame.
It could, if you kept it up over time, and so it works. I mean, it generally works, but still, there's a whole lot of waste.
Right.
And the biggest driver of that waste is not technical failure. It's not, gee, we tried to build something and we couldn't build it, because companies are very good at managing technical risk. It's mostly product market fit or value to the particular organization. So a lot of times, some companies will build something and it works just fine, but it turns out not to be right for them, because every company's different. Even GM and Ford have different things that are important to them that will improve their position in the marketplace. So you build something, and you can't really do the financial analysis or the market analysis very well until you have at least a solid prototype, and it takes millions of dollars to get to a prototype. So a lot of times these companies build things and it works just fine, but it doesn't have value to them. So what you want is a way of trying to identify which things have the most value long in advance of actually investing in building them, even to the prototype stage. And that's what our system does for them. And it does it by looking at the problems that might be solved with a new product or a new product enhancement. We call them innovation targets or gap opportunities in our pilot. So it's something you might fill with innovation, and we want to know how do those things relate to the company's various strategic goals. Most companies have 20 to 50 different business goals or strategic priorities that are important to them, and the question is, if you think about one thing you might put a couple $1 million into developing, where does it help you, and to what degree, and how important are those particular business goals relative to one another? It ends up being a very complicated math problem that can be solved very well with computers and visualized nicely with charts and graphs, and that's what we basically invented.
Tell me how we can find you on the web.
www.synchronyinnovations.com.